Hello, and welcome to Practical Cat Wellness. If you're new here, I'm Kat Jones, and I love to talk about all things food and healthy lifestyle. Today, I'm going to share my outline on how to grocery shop with confidence so you can create meals you'll love. Let's dive in. We're going to start off with the basics. Don't go to the grocery store with zero game plan. You need to have a plan for the meals that you want to cook. So what does this mean? So when you go to the grocery store, you need to already have all of the ingredients that you need for the meals that you're going to cook, so you don't have to do it during the week and take even more of your own time that you could be using working on other hobbies or watching TV. So that's really why I'm going to start here at the basics with finding recipes that you'll really want to make every day, listing the ingredients, and curating that into a list. Honestly, when I first started cooking from home and I would list the ingredients that I didn't have, I would try to replace the ingredients I didn't have with ingredients that I already had. And finally, I realized, what am I doing? Why am I not just buying the ingredients that I don't have so I can actually make this dish again and make it taste the same and actually fine-tune it? If there was a hierarchy of needs triangle, the bottom would be quality ingredients and grocery shopping. The second level would be finding recipes and learning recipes and skills. The top level would be chef level cooking, like actually understanding like salt, fat, acid, heat principles, It is basic, it is fundamental that you master this level because this makes it easier to go grocery shopping and in turn will likely increase the quality of your meals that you're creating. Now I'm giving you the goods. This is where it really gets good, people, so stick around. So step number one, you're going to be finding recipes and curating those recipes somewhere, stockpiling them in an area that you can get to easily. The first place I want you to start that I recommend anyone who is a new beginner, doesn't have any recipes, doesn't really know what to cook, they only know what they like to eat, I would suggest that you start with Pinterest. Pinterest is the best place to start because it just has so many recipes. For example, if you search for baked chicken recipe, there are going to be it seems like an infinite number of pins that show up that give you so many different ideas for baked chicken. So before I said, if you're someone that only knows what you like to eat but you don't know how to cook, Pinterest is a great place to start because, for example, I really love Chick-fil-A chicken tenders. I think they are just delicious. That recipe is so good. So instead, I can search Chick-fil-A chicken tender recipe on Pinterest and you will find so many different recipes that are copycat Chick-fil-A chicken tender recipes, and it's awesome. You know what ingredients are going into what you're eating and you just started making a food that you love to eat and you just gain that skill. Another option, if you have so many Pinterest recipes that you just can't even handle it, you don't even want to look at Pinterest anymore, another option is to buy a cookbook. So it's kind of like Pinterest, but the recipes that are curated, you can't really have any control over it, which is why I choose Pinterest over cookbooks most of the time, because I can curate all of my pins for my recipes on Pinterest. So this is one of the cookbooks that I have. My sister got it for me when she was in Australia. I asked her for something specifically. I don't know if I don't know if this is even Australian. I think it is. I'm not sure. The second book that I actually got from TJ Maxx when I was just browsing around the store one day. I saw this one called From Half-Baked Harvest, and it had a lot of good recipes in it. It really opened the door to know that you can make this showstopper meal at home. When you do cook them, they're not gonna turn out looking exactly like this. That is a hurdle that I had to get over. But I quickly found out that even if they don't look great, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna taste bad. there's still going to be good eats. In the description, I've linked my free ebook that includes a few really easy, really simple recipes that I've shared with you. Go down there, click it, it's free, just take it, it's free, it's for you. It's a great place to start. It's for beginners, it's not for people that are very experienced unless they just want to practice the fundamentals and the basics of cooking. There's one more fun way that you can find recipes, and that is just by asking your family and your friends, seeing if they have any recipes that they'd love to share with you that you can try. So, like, for example, my mom has a great potato salad recipe, potato soup recipe, Amish bread recipe. I think she might have gotten all of those from her mother, my grandmother. So that's just recipes that have been traded down through the generations that are still alive and are still being enjoyed by our own friends and family still. We just finished finding all the recipes that we want, and so now we are going to make our grocery list. Yay, we're finally making the grocery list. We're nowhere even near going to the store yet. So now that you have all of these recipes, you're going to list all of the ingredients that you don't currently have available to cook with. Once you know what you want to make every day of the week, or once a day of the week, or 3 days of the week, whatever you want, you are going to take the free template that I made you, that is linked below in the descriptions. It's free, and you are going to write down all of the ingredients that you need from each of your recipes. So now that you have curated all those recipes, you've written down all the ingredients that you need, they're categorized because you used the free template that I gave you, you're going to start thinking about the snacks that you want. My rule on snacks is that you need to be eating foods closest to their original form as possible, as often as possible. So whenever I first started getting kind of away from the snack era of my life where I would eat snacks whenever I wanted to, this is how I started to push that lifestyle away from me, because that's where all of your extra calories are coming from if you're someone that tracks calories or has an idea of how many calories that are going in and out. That's probably where most of your calories are coming from, are those snacks in between your meals. I threw out all of my packaged and processed foods that I had around the house. I don't want those because I don't want to be tempted by those. Every now and then I will buy Oreos. Every now and then I will buy soda pop, but I do not make it typical because I don't need that stuff in my house. The second thing that I started doing was baking more, because if there was going to be, if I knew I was in the mood for sweets, I would want to know what's going to be in the sweets. So again, I bring you back to the Oreo description. I know that I'm going to want something sweet after dinner. I shouldn't be eating those Oreos, so maybe I make my own chocolate chip cookies, or sugar cookies, or even peanut butter cookies. If there's one recipe that you feel like you just cannot live without, just find a copycat recipe and just make it at home so you know what you have in all of the foods that you're going to eat. The third thing that I started doing was buying whole foods to snack on. Finally, with snacks, don't put pressure on yourself to not eat snacks. If you sometimes you want the Oreo cookies, get the Oreo cookies. Just don't make a habit out of it. Just have some self-control there. It is going to be really hard at the beginning because you've built up a habit that you're very used to, and it's going to be uncomfortable trying to break that habit. But if you're serious about getting healthy, I highly suggest that you stop buying those foods that make you feel unhealthy and make it every other week or once a month kind of thing, because it's probably going to have a bigger impact in the long run than any of the other changes that you're going to make. All right, you did it. Step number 3, you walked through the doors of that grocery store. We finally made it. We finally made it to the grocery store. And that's it. We're just gonna shop. There's nothing else. That's how you go grocery shopping. You don't walk into the store and think, oh, what sounds good? Another bag of salad that I'm not going to eat? Oh yes, let me put that in my cart. You're gonna go get your fresh fruit, you're gonna look for organic, and you're gonna buy all of the ingredients that you need to succeed in the kitchen. Like, that's it. You have to know what you're gonna get at the grocery store before you go to the grocery store. I go into the grocery store, my little cart, and my little notebook that has all of my items listed on it. and I go into the home goods section. Do any supplements and vitamins that I need to take, toothpaste, shaving stuff. Maybe I look at the clothes over there and say, no, don't buy any more clothes. So just things like that, you know. The way Meijer has it set up is that I have to go to the dairy section after that. I have to go into the dairy section so I can get heavy cream, sour cream, and cheeses, yogurts. The middle aisles also start there. So the dairy is all the way in the back. With every store, it's almost always going to be like that. Your dairy and your eggs are going to be in the very back corner because they want you to walk all the way through the store to get something as basic as that. And then I go into the middle aisles to finish out the home goods, just because that's how Meijer has it set up. So I continue to move through the middle aisles. The eggs are actually on the outside, so I'll pick up the eggs and I get my spices, things like peanut butter, honey, coffee, if I need bread that week, pickles, baking supplies. So I get all of that there. After I finish with the middle aisles, I go out and I get all my fresh meat. You have your chicken and your lamb and your beef and your seafood, and I get all of that. I go to the bakery to see if there are any breads that I can get there rather than in the middle aisles, because the ones in the bakery I just think have a little bit higher standard. Sometimes I'll look to see if there are desserts already made that aren't in the middle aisle. They're from the bakery that I could try. So those are some of, you know, the exceptions that I have to my rule for having snacks and desserts at home. Like, go buy yourself a pie if you need something. Just eat the whole pie. Like, you don't need a pie, no, but you also don't need all of those granola bars that you're eating. And then I go to the fresh fruits and the fresh vegetables and I get all of that. Sometimes I look in the deli area because they have some fresh cheeses and also nuts. So I do look in that sometimes. And then I'll check out and I'll always make sure that I bag in a specific way. I have one bag for all of my fresh produce. I have another bag for all of my fresh meat. If I can fit dairy and eggs in there, I will. If not, they can go in their separate bag. And then I have all of the home goods in their own bag as well to make sure that any contamination stays separated. Definitely recommend that you have all of your own grocery bags instead of using the plastic bags that they offer. It just makes it a lot easier to categorize everything and just keep it in one big bag. It's just a lot nicer than having so many other bags to carry, in my opinion. So I would definitely invest in those bags because they are a game changer when you start buying more and more food. As you get more and more comfortable cooking from home, you're gonna buy more and more ingredients. And if your family is growing, then you're just gonna have to buy even more food and more ingredients, and it's just gonna be fantastic. And you're just gonna be cooking all the time, and you're gonna actually love it because it's not a chore. You should be grateful to have the ability to buy fresh food, to make whatever you want. Literally anything you can think, you can try to make it at home because you are blessed enough to do that. Just remember that. Thanks for watching. Bye. So just so you guys know, this is from getting popped in the face with grease, okay? I'm really self-conscious about it. I love ice cream.